If you remember, I've done a whole bunch of Vampire Knight videos that I had wanted to talk about recently, and as you know that I am a still big fan of Vampire Knight, as you can obviously tell. Now, if you remember when I talked about ABC3, there were a few specific animes that came up specifically. Saturday was Vampire Knight, obviously, and then on Sundays was a little bit different. I actually said that there was Fruits Basket and Oran High School Host Club. Now, these are the other two specific animes that I also love with all of my heart, right beside Vampire Knight. It was like the perfect trio of an anime, just literally three female protagonists, based with their different issues and different problems, different situations that they have, and I just felt like it just felt absolutely great. I mean, you already know everything about Yuki Cross, so we don't have to go too much into info there. She just knows that she had lost her memories once, having to figure out that she was a vampire princess, that she actually has to become, like, knowing that actually her lover Kaname is actually her brother, which also is a little bit weird, but we won't go too much into that detail. She just basically wants to live a normal human life as a normal human girl, as we all know. And that kind of goes for the same thing with Toru Honda, specifically from Fruits Basket. By the way, we're talking about the original Fruits Basket, not the remastered one. I mean, technically, it's got the same story, but they added some more stuff into it, which we never technically discovered. But to be honest, in my opinion, I kind of like the original Fruits Basket, if I'm being honest here. It does have actually a bit more depth into it, and it is a lot more heartwarming. It's really good. Not to say that the remastered version is bad or anything, but it is still good. But I just prefer this, I just prefer the original Fruits Basket right here. As you can see, I have the original Fruits Basket. I have like Vampire Knight Guilty whole collection as well, and for Oran High School Host Club, I also have the entire complete collection of season 1. Now, of course, you probably may know that there's also the manga versions of each and every single one of these series. Which, by the way, I do have a volume of Vampire Knight, which is volume 14, and I've got the complete series of Vampire Knight Memories, which, by the way, is really good. Unlike the end is a little bit... it's a bit odd, which hopefully I'll be able to talk about that maybe some other time. Now, when it comes to Fruits Basket, as you know, Toru Honda, the main protagonist, who actually had no home, she had nowhere to go, she had nowhere to live because her mom actually was caused in an accident. It was a car crash, apparently. And then after encountering one of the Soma family members, Yuki Soma, yes, I know, Yuki Cross or Kuron and Yuki Soma. It's kind of funny, actually. I mean, it's cute. It's kind of funny and cute at the exact same time. But anyways, Yuki Soma, who is actually one of the members of the Soma family, who actually lets Toru Honda stay in for, well, pretty much for forever, I guess, because she literally has nowhere else to go. But on the way, she actually notices a few things that were happening. And every time when she actually hugs a male member of the Soma family, they turn into animals based on the Chinese zodiac. This was known to be the Soma curse. Apparently, however, if she hugs a female member of the Soma family, guess what? They don't transform into animals. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting situation, yet it's kind of hilarious. And the way how they did the original Fruits Basket, it's absolutely phenomenal. It is comedy gold, and I love it. It does actually express a lot of the hardships from each and every single member of the Soma family, which is absolutely fantastic, and I freaking love it. And it's not just the problems aside from Toru, they literally bring up like pretty much everybody around. And they pretty much also, in the remastered version, like they go even further deep into that as well, especially with Akito. By the way, Akito, I don't really technically like the guy. I mean, he's technically the one who keeps the curse going, and he wants to keep the curse going for some no apparent reason. Now, of course, as I said, I have not seen the rest of the remastered version of Fruits Basket because it continues on to the second season, I guess. But it's crazy. It's crazy what happens when you get to hear about the information, especially in the manga. That was it's interesting, but it's like, why? But anyways, I rather prefer to stick to the original. If they did a season 2 for the original Fruits Basket, I kind of feel like things would have been a bit like, things could be cleared out a little bit more, I guess, but they've already done it in a remastered, but that's fine. And the same thing like how Yuki wants to be herself, the same thing goes with Toru. She wants to just be herself and tries to be the best as she can to just, just think that everything is kind of normal. And then you have Haruhi Fujioka from Oran High School Host Club, who is basically also a female protagonist into the story. Everyone actually first at the beginning thought that the main members of the host club, they all thought that Haruhi was actually a male, but in the end, they kind of figured out that Haruhi was a female. And the only nutcase could ever think about it last was basically Tamaki Senpai. Yes, Tamaki Senpai is one of the guys who actually does fall in love with Haruhi, but he doesn't realize that he actually does have those feelings for Haruhi until like probably later somewhere, which actually happens later in one of the episodes when they have Casanova involved. Which, by the way, Casanova, I love that episode. Casanova is actually one of the best characters in side characters in the series. Now Haruhi just basically wants to, study and just graduate throughout all of, in this high school, right? But unfortunately she can never do that because guess what? The Oran High School Host Club keeps dragging her into being a freaking host. But also due to the fact that, she's basically mostly in debt because she broke a very expensive vase. So she had to be a host in order to repay that debt to get enough money and to fix that vase, right? But not only is that Haruhi also tries to have that specific difficult hardship as well, but guess what? So do the characters of the host club actually do have their own hardships as well, which is fantastic. Now, you're probably also thinking to yourself, back at Vampire Night, did any of the other characters have that sort of thing as well? I mean, yeah, of course they did. I mean, aside from Yuki, Zero had his hardships when he became a vampire bitten by Shizuka. And then you have Kaname, who he wants to escape his curse from Rito's grasp because he made him the progenitor of the Kurons. And then you have other characters like Aido Honabusa, for example. He's one of them. Including Siren, which, by the way, if you don't know who Siren is, she's actually Kaname's right-hand woman. And we actually get to hear her own backstory back in the freaking Vampire Night Memories manga, which is amazing. We actually don't get to know anything much about her until we get to read that, which is absolutely insane. Which, by the way, I do like, by the way. It's actually pretty good. I mean, a bit tragic, but it was actually good. So yeah, considering these three protagonists, along with every single in these three anime series, like, to me, it is literally the perfect trio. They are literally just regular high school girls who just want to relive a regular life, but all of this nonsense just keeps coming at them. And I feel like, to me, if this would ever have a chance to have, like, a three-way crossover, like, if it were to happen, I would love that. Just seeing the three of those three main protagonists come together and just discussing their own problems. I mean, that will be interesting, to be honest. But then again, each of them have been, into crazy situations, crazy things that they could never possibly imagine. Can you actually imagine if Yuki actually confessed that she is actually a vampire? What the heck would the girls... What would Haruhi and Toru think about that? Or what about the Soma curse that Toru would have to actually confess to the girls, huh? Or what about Haruhi? Boy, she will have a freaking tough one. Like, oh my god. Me just talking about it just kind of makes you feel like that, man, you could do so many things with these three characters in the most wholesome way as possible. Even if in the most craziest of times, I feel like it would be great. You could literally think of anything. The possibilities are endless. If it were to ever have a possibility of having a three-way crossover between Vampire Night, Fruits Basket, and Oran High School Host Club, it will be... I feel like that'll be absolutely phenomenal. It'll be absolutely fantastic, and I will love it. Talking about their problems and situations will be tough, but I feel like it'll be worth listening to. Like, you could literally come up with anything. Fans can go crazy if you see stuff like this, and that'll, to me, feel like that's like the perfect trio out of all of them. Oh, and also for a bonus, also like in Sundays as well, I feel like Kirito and Madoka Magica should also be like a thing as well. As in like just a crossover. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Vampire Knight, Fruits Basket, and also Oran High School Host Club, the three main protagonists, Yuki Cross, Toru Honda, and Haruhi Fujioka, should be in a crossover, if that were to actually happen? I mean, probably a lot of fans can go crazy with this sort of thing. It doesn't matter who exactly, it doesn't matter what kind of fan stuff you want to do, but like, whether it's wholesome, whether it's crazy, whether it's nuts, but I would love nothing less but to see these three protagonists come together and just have a talk, or just have, just talk through their problems or something like that, or just having a good time with each other. I feel like that would be great. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe if you haven't, and click on the notification bell to never miss a video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, my name is Mad Dog, and may your days be mad and rad!